Out of Luck was not the original title of the presentation, but it got censored. So, welcome. It did. I don't know if you read it. Welcome, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed RSA so far and continue to enjoy it after hearing me talk about crypto forums for 40 minutes, which seems like a lot and yet somehow is not nearly enough. Here's RSA's disclaimer. I'm sure you've seen it a lot. They do not endorse anything that I say here today. Probably a smart move. You'll notice that I don't have a similar disclaimer from the company that I work for, Protect AI. I asked our head of marketing if she wanted me to include one, and she shrugged that she didn't think so. So I'm not saying that I represent Protect AI here today. But Protect AI isn't saying that I don't. So now let's kick this off. I want to start this presentation the way that I start every first date with my list of no's. No, this is not an endorsement of cryptocurrency. Simply a look at a unique security culture amid immense risk. No. If I mention a specific project and its positive security culture, it does not mean you should buy anything related to it. You will almost certainly lose money. No, just because I'm highlighting the positive security culture, this is not me within these crypto forums, does not mean that I am endorsing these communities. They are often littered with some questionable language, some casual misogyny and homophobia. So where my cryptocurrency and NFT interest stems from is, I would say, pure middle child syndrome. My older sister got a job at a crypto exchange and would often be asked about her job and the blockchain during family get-togethers. And I, desiring to be the center of attention, wanted to be able to talk about it. And the brat in me needed to know a little bit more than my older sister did. So I researched, read some books, watched YouTube videos on the blockchain, and developed enough of a foundation to impress my many cousins and grandparents, which surprisingly didn't take much. Those were the blissful days before I stumbled across this article in March of 2022 that started this nightmare. A CNET post titled, "People spent $9K on Pixelmon NFTs. Then they saw the art" by Daniel Van Boom, which, as a side note, is a kick-ass name if I've ever heard one. This whole article is a gem, and I really recommend reading it in Van Boom's other articles. Basically what happened is that people bet anywhere from $7,000 to $9,000 per NFT that an individual pseudonymously known as Cyber would be able to build a AAA open-world game that is a cross between Avatar: The Last Airbender and a Pokemon-type monster hunting game. Honestly, that's a game I would love to play, and a lot of people seem to agree with me, because Pixelmon raised $70 million. And for that $70 million, they expected art like this and got this. This appeared to be a classic NFT rug pull, which is the crypto term for scam. The enigmatic Cyber turned out to be a 21-year-old New Zealander who, and this may shock you, was not an experienced game developer. Because I enjoy a little bit of schadenfreude, and I wanted to see the panic these crypto bros would surely be in, seeing the result of their speculative investment. So I joined their Discord, poked around a bit, and had some fun at the fact that the ugliest character, actually called Kevin, the voxel zombie character you see on the right, became a meme in his own right, and spawned off his own cash grab NFT projects that celebrated his hideousness. Right after the art reveal, which I have privately called the Kevining, all other Pixelmon were valued at around $1,500, while Kevin was $13,000. All of which is to say that where value comes from in crypto is hard to predict. So I had my fun, enjoyed some laughs at the expense of other people, texted my sister this story because she would get a kick out of it, and then I didn't think about it again. But I made a critical mistake there. I stayed in the Discord server, and I kept seeing the little red alert flags in Discord signaling announcements being made, which the curious part of me needed to investigate. So when I started to see notifications pop up in my sidebar, I would scroll through the updates and the messages of the people committed to this project, and I began to notice something that I think is kind of incredible. This is a community that is willing to gamble and invest unbelievable sums of money on digital assets that I frankly cannot differentiate, and I doubt you can either. On the screen here, you will see two different NFTs. One of them was purchased at $4,000. the other at 23.7 million. Can you tell me which is which? I'll give you a hint. One of them is a CryptoPunk, one of the original NFT projects. In crypto terms, it is ancient because it was created in the distant year of 2017. The other is called a CryptoFunk, spelled with a PH, which is a derivative copy of the massively popular CryptoPunks that is identical in every way except the icons face a different direction. As far as I can tell, CryptoPunks doesn't provide any utility. They are simply a collector's item. Fun fact, if you don't agree to the CryptoPunk website's terms and conditions and indemnity statements, you are automatically routed to the eBay page for the original Beanie Babies, which feels rather telling. If, for whatever reason, you wanted to own a CryptoPunk today, it would cost you around $122,000 last time I checked. Whereas an entry-level CryptoFunk, again, PH, will run you around $450. I'll stop keeping you in suspense. I know you're curious. The one worth $23 million is obviously the one on the left. I think. Was it the one on the right? No, it's definitely the one. That's the one that's worth $23 million, not that one, that one. All of this is to say that to make money in the crypto space is often a crapshoot. And this is the type of risk that crypto enthusiasts willingly jump into, spending hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands on extremely speculative investments based on little more than gut instinct. So when I tell you that outside of the people in this room and at this conference, the people with crypto assets have the most honed risk management instincts when it comes to information security, believe me when I understand your skepticism. In order to convince you of this thesis, let's start with the stakes. This is a conversation that I witnessed in real time as it unfolded. Someone got drained, or maybe a listing error. Drained, an active community member. You'll notice in the screenshot provided that half of a dozen NFTs were sold for less than a penny of Ethereum. This almost always means that a hacker got access to someone's wallet and is selling those assets to themselves as a quick way to transfer them before someone could regain control of their wallet. Within 11 minutes, our protagonist emerges and self-identifies with a simple, "Was me, sadly." This reaction stuck with me, "Was me, sadly." The instant acceptance of the theft. To me, that would mean not a lot of money was lost, but that didn't sit right because I knew the rough value of each of those NFTs, and it was likely that they had other assets in that wallet. So I spent a whole Friday night, because I know how to party, trawling through the blockchain to see exactly what was lost and found that the scammer had quickly sold every single NFT for $70,407.22. "Was me, sadly" was the reaction to the loss of $70,407.22. $70,407.22. For that amount of money, you can buy this charming 5-bed, 3-bath house in Oklahoma. For $70,407.22, you can almost afford these vintage Air Jordans off of eBay. "Was me, sadly" is the response I would give if I lost $20 in the wash. "Was me, sadly" didn't even go through the 5 stages of grief. They flew right to acceptance. Where did this total acceptance come from? I had to know. So I bought one of these things. I dove in head first, eyes open, but head first. My dad gave me a strong sense of fiscal responsibility, so I only invested money I was able to lose. This is where I want to reiterate that no part of this presentation is an endorsement of the industry of cryptocurrency. The choices I make, good or bad, are what work for me, and what works for me is unlikely to work for anybody else. I do not own a car, and I still live with my mom. What works for me doesn't work for everybody. But I felt that I could not truly understand "was me, sadly" unless I jumped into the ecosystem like they did, and I desperately needed to understand how they could react so nonchalantly to the loss of exactly $70,407.22. Listen, I spent a whole Friday night doing the math on that. You had better believe I'm going to say the precise number. It turns out the answer is simple. In the crypto space, there is no safety net. If you fall for a scam, who do you call? If your wallet gets drained, you are shit out of luck, the original title. It's not like when your credit card number gets stolen, you're suddenly on the hook for the thousands of dollars of V-Bucks that the scammer buys. For those of you blissfully unaware or doesn't have younger siblings, V-Bucks is the currency in the video game Fortnite. When it comes to credit card fraud, you're only on the hook for about $50. And then for debit cards, as long as you report the fraud within 60 days, I don't believe you're liable for any of the damages. But crypto is supposedly decentralized and largely unregulated. That is part of its appeal. So when you approve a malicious transaction, by design and the nature of the technology used, there is no recourse. Technically. You can report the theft to the FBI, and you definitely should. But unless the scammer makes a critical error, your crypto and the money associated with it is long gone. Theft in the crypto space is the most hilarious kind of cruel. Because everything is public on the blockchain, you can view the exact moment your assets were stolen. You can see the wallet address your assets were moved to. You can see what it was sold for and who is now the owner of what was your NFT. If you want it back, you rely entirely on their mercy. It's kind of like if you had video footage of a person stealing your wallet, the thief is holding your wallet in front of you and waving it about. You point the thief out to a police officer while they're still holding the wallet up in the air. But the police officer says there's nothing they can do because the perp is holding your wallet super tight. And they look really fast, so it's the thief's wallet now. All the issues that we face with phishing in our jobs, the massive problem that is the human element in companies, is exacerbated 1,000-fold in crypto. Offers that are too good to be true can be a little true when it comes to crypto. People become overnight millionaires for no reason, seemingly overnight and every day. Who remembers Dogecoin, when a bunch of people in their late teens and early 20s suddenly became millionaires for choosing the right dog-themed cryptocurrency? Grammar and spelling errors and names that are weird are generally an indicator of a phishing email, but they're practically a staple of the crypto space. Cabbage, Garlic Coin, Harry Potter Obama Sonic Inu, Whale Panda, Mafia Doge, Coinye, Useless Ethereum Token. Can you tell me which one of these is made up? Because they're all real. A sense of urgency, the kind that bypasses the critical thinking part of your brain, is a key part of the crypto ecosystem. In order to understand why the urgency is ingrained in the crypto system, you have to know about the concept of gas. This is where we're going to get very minorly technical. The ledger that is the backbone of the blockchain requires a lot of energy, so the distributed network needs an incentive to record the transactions. That is where gas comes in. Gas is the price you pay per transaction. This price on major chains generally ranges from a few bucks to hundreds of dollars. This price is dependent on the volume of transactions at that point in time. When you initiate a transaction, the rough price of gas is posed to you, and the timer begins. As you can see on the slide, this individual has only 36 seconds left to accept a gas price of $148, which may be a great deal for that day. Getting a great price on gas can be crucial, especially when you are flipping a digital asset for a couple of bucks profit. So when you get a good price and the timer starts ticking, you may choose to accept it before you check the URL or wallet address you're transacting with. When you start getting pulled into this community and joining or following crypto projects, you start getting DMs promising incredible opportunities and free money. This is one that I found on Reddit, and it is my favorite. This Discord DM starts very enthusiastically. Congratulations, you're one of the lucky winners of our giveaway. They, and by they I mean KFC for some reason, is contacting this random individual to give away the crypto equivalent of $20,000. This whole screenshot is perfect in its ridiculousness. And I don't know what I like the best. Is it the fact that the scammers are claiming to be from a fast food chicken restaurant? That they want you to click on a link that says literally titled ethlegit.com? Maybe it's the sentence down at the bottom. If you don't know what cryptocurrencies are and how to use them, please ignore this message. So polite. But again, crypto is sometimes inherently silly. So why would you be more suspicious of this than Dogecoin or use this Ethereum token? Maybe KFC is trying to get in the crypto game. When I did decide to finally subject myself to this technology, the first thing I had to do was choose an exchange. As you can see here, I chose Bittrex. It was the exchange my sister worked for. You may not have heard about it before, and that is because it doesn't exist anymore. At least the US version doesn't exist anymore. Due to US law and know your customer regulations, you have to provide an uncomfortable amount of information, way more than when you apply for a credit card. Not only did they ask for my social security number and bank information, they needed a copy of my passport and a 3D scan of my face. All information I am sure this defunct company is keeping incredibly safe. Crypto exchanges collapse all the time. There is a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to it. Some because of poor or fraudulent management, most famously FTX, as I'm sure you're seeing in the news. Others because they were Ponzi schemes from the jump, like Celsius, allegedly. Or because the poor management was so severe that the exchange was hacked and had customers' crypto stolen, like Mt. Gox. Because of the fallibility of these exchanges, a curious phrase has cropped up in the crypto community. Not your keys, not your crypto. Meaning if you do not have the seed phrase for the wallet your crypto rests in, you do not actually own that crypto. As a result, especially after the FTX crash, many people only keep crypto or cash on these exchanges for as long as it takes to do a desired transaction, then immediately transfer those assets to their own wallet or an actual bank. Exchanges know about this reputation loss that they have suffered and offer insane incentives to keep your assets on their platform, like a 5% or higher APY on your idle cash. I love free money. I'm sure you do too. This is a tempting offer that is hard to resist, but many crypto enthusiasts have had to weigh that easy money against the safety of their assets. Unlike banks and stock exchanges, crypto exchanges have no insurance like FDIC or SIPC. So when the exchange goes bust and your money is still locked in, you have to hope that it gets returned during the bankruptcy proceedings. Now, why did I include this email that I got? Because it's a scam. After Bittrex went bankrupt, many customers, myself included, got an email like this, which included accurate details from the bankruptcy proceedings. This is my full legal name. Outside of the DMV and when I piss off my mother, I never see or hear this. I cannot tell you how jarring it was to get an email like this and how convincing it was, at least initially. Their major mistake for me was saying that I had more than $8,000 left on Bittrex. The idea that I would put $8,000 in a crypto exchange is ludicrous. But this is a fantastic fish. I cannot imagine how many people were hoodwinked by this campaign or similar campaigns from other exchanges exploding, which again happens rather frequently. Airdrops present the most bizarre and terrifying attack surface in the crypto space, at least in my opinion. Any person, anywhere in the world, can send a digital asset to your wallet, and because an interaction with a digital asset requires the signing of a contract, you can't delete it either. All you can do is hide it, but it will continue to exist in perpetuity. Here is an alert on a project server about an airdrop scam that many of their members received, clearly identifying it as a scam, which hopefully saved some of their members some money. Now, before we move on, I want to talk about a major concern that I have when it comes to NFT airdrops that I cannot believe isn't already a major problem. I'll quickly remind you that an NFT airdrop is a picture that is sent to you that you then actually own that you can never get rid of. Otherwise, your assets might be stolen. What is to stop someone from airdropping a rival an NFT of CSAM, child sexual abuse material, as revenge? How has a much maligned crypto influencer not been pulled into a scandal when a viewer that hates them drops a CSAM NFT into their public wallet? I expect this to become a major problem in the crypto community in the not too distant future. Outside of the awful criminal implications of NFT airdrops, corn airdrops are often more convincing. Here is an airdrop of 11 billion SHIB, a real coin that exists. It's kind of an offshoot of Dogecoin. Further down in the wallet, it will actually link you to the real website for SHIB, further legitimizing it. Thankfully, Coinbase has implemented a helpful little security feature that can help you suss out the scam. The banner at the top says that this is on the Gnosis network rather than on Ethereum, where actual SHIB lives, which helps indicate that you should hide this asset rather than engage with it. But again, because it was airdropped into your wallet, you will never truly be rid of it. The temptation will always be there. I really want to hammer home the insanity that is airdrop scams. So I came up with this analogy. Airdrops are like getting those hot singles in your area banner ads in your bank account and being unable to ever remove that ad. Just a constant temptation and threat that looms over you, waiting for you to make a mistake in a place where people will keep hundreds of thousands of dollars of assets. Now, after all of this research and digging, I thought I understood Wasme sadly and their motivations. I really did. But I didn't at all until something awful happened. The line went up. By that I mean the NFT I bought suddenly became worth vastly more than I bought it for, and I briefly lost my sense of reason. And I started to feel the anxious excitement I think people feel when they win at a slot machine. I started questioning why my NFT was suddenly worth so much money. And instead of immediately thinking about cashing out, my mind wondered if I should hold longer and see if the line will go up even further. The FOMO, fear of missing out on larger gains, instantly invaded my mind. God, what a crazy thought, since I could not understand the value to begin with. Then I started to worry that this was somehow a scam offer, that the exchange I used had been hacked and hadn't been announced. This was both a reasonable and an unreasonable fear, entirely driven by the fact that if I signed this digital contract and I was wrong about the authenticity, I would lose everything in my wallet and have nothing to do but to accept it, like Wasme sadly did. Eventually, I breathed through my anxiety, scolded my brain for thinking about that I should wait for a higher offer, and sold the NFT. Now, it wasn't Oklahoma house money, let alone vintage Jordan money. It wasn't even car money. What it was Vespa money. Used Vespa money, but still Vespa money. Now, I know, I shouldn't get a Vespa. I live on a mountain. Seattle rains all the time, but I can't help but want one. I want one so bad. In my first draft, I had a long paragraph about exactly how many nodes were in this transaction and how many hoops I had to jump through in order to turn an NFT into dollars. But I realized that that was not what was important. What was important was what this whole experience and how it made me feel. I bought that NFT with money I was willing to lose without expectation of a return. The second it held actual value to me, I became terrified to lose it. It didn't matter that I didn't agree with the valuation. Suddenly, I felt entitled to it. And the knowledge that any mistake meant losing it and that there are no do-overs was agonizing. Every time I had to sign a wallet transaction, I held my breath. Because even though I had no reason to believe otherwise, I wasn't 100% sure I wasn't screwing up. All people with experience in crypto live with the same assume breach mindset many cybersecurity professionals do, just without any hope of recovery. So how has the crypto community responded to the elements of crypto that is trying to make them fail? I see a sentiment of zero trust more often in crypto forums than I do anywhere else outside of pure cybersecurity circles. This is an exchange that follows after someone writes about how they got DM'd to sell a digital asset on a less reputable exchange. My favorite line is, if there's one thing you can't trust in Web3, it's everyone. I agree. 100%. It is how I wish everyone felt about every interaction they had on the web. When it comes to security and personal risk assessment, crypto enthusiasts have one of the strongest communities I have ever seen. Every Discord you join is going to have a channel that is strictly dedicated to scams and security alerts. Some are better than others, of course, but there is an expectation within the community that these channels will exist. Take this one, for instance, posted in the security alert channel that lets people know that wallet trainer links can be easily hidden in Discord links, which is a fantastic security alert to send out to your community. It is a perfect encapsulation of how solid the security community is here. And the alerts that people are sharing are incredibly relevant and community generated. These aren't CVEs spread by CISA to alert about critical vulns. There is no official central agency keeping you up to date about the new dangers in crypto. This is something a person noticed that they posted on Twitter that then gets forwarded on to everyone else who could be affected. Watch out for these hidden reward sites. I have seen this scam more often these days. This is a helpful and clear security alert from this team. I can imagine posting something similar to the company Slack if I saw a persistent and emerging threat. Even outside of the security alert channel, which is generally run by the project, you'll see individual users post about unique security concerns that they have seen crop up. Like this tweet, which got 1.5 million views, letting people know that NFT Trader had been compromised and is being actively exploited, and that if you have a live connection, you need to revoke it immediately. A very helpful tip from a crypto compatriot. There are no stupid questions in crypto, because crypto itself feels inherently rather silly. So if you are ever worried about that you're about to make a foolish choice, you have easy access to a group of like-minded people you can run your worries by. In this example, this person wanted to know if this random airdrop they received in their wallet that they were being offered $583 for is a legit offer or a scam. They are immediately told, literally within seconds, 405 to 405, that this is a scam and nobody sends you free NFTs ever, which is generally true. I'm not going to quibble over it right now, but it's generally true. The projects themselves are huge targets for malicious actors, and you'll see project Discords, websites, and Twitter accounts hacked quite often. This happens with such frequency that when there's a sudden shift in messaging, people know to automatically question its authenticity, such as when Munchables was hacked and at least $62.5 million was stolen. Pixelmon, the project that started all this craziness, was hacked, and both its project and CEO's Twitter were compromised. This hack was noticed by a normal user within 50 seconds and communicated throughout the community. This quick action kept people from interacting with a wallet trainer, and as a result, no one within the Discord community got hacked. Can you imagine how incredible it would be if one of our companies was breached and started sending out abnormal emails or tweets, and your customers and employees were primed to recognize the signs of malicious actors, and were able to alert your security team within a minute of the attack going live? I still cannot believe the swiftness of the action of normal users within this community. This person took a screenshot within 50 seconds of the post going live. And as soon as the screenshot was seen within the Discord, someone else recognized that they needed to ping an actual member of the product team. They then go on to talk about the other indicators that show that this is not an official tweet, such as the comments being locked. Frankly, I am a little jealous of the speed of this response. When you join a project Discord server, you have to agree to a set of rules. My favorite one, pictured here, is from Azuki. As you can see, of the 7 rules you must agree to, arguably 4, of the 7 rules you must agree to, you are focused on not getting scammed. The others can kind of be boiled down into not being allowed to be creepy, which I think are also a good set of rules, but the security rules are simple and effective. Number 1, keep your direct messages closed with 4 exclamation points, so you know they mean it. No team member or bot will ever DM you. Next, any announcement or links sent through a DM is a scam. Please do not click or mint anything outside of our official channels. And the last one, help educate others about how to avoid getting scammed. This last one is my favorite, and it makes it abundantly clear from the moment you join a project that it is your responsibility and the responsibility of everyone else in the community to help and protect each other and the project from scams. In crypto, security is a community effort. Every time a project or well gets hacked or scammed, it makes the whole system look bad. These projects even do checks on your personal settings to make sure that you're being as secure as possible. Security is not just a personal responsibility, as it can often be treated by many SaaS companies. When I received this message from one of the projects I joined, I was kind of astounded. Even though they reached out with the humorous tagline, "You're a lizard, Larry," which I kind of secretly love, they let me know that the dummy account I created was not secure and that I should make sure my DMs are off for my security. Many companies have free features and programs you can enable to increase your security. What comes to mind instantly for me is Google Advanced Protection. But you have to know about them or go searching for them before you can utilize them. I would love it if a community reached out to me recognizing that I am at increased risk for scams and gave me simple steps on how I can be more secure. So now you've learned way more than you would want about cryptocurrency and the community revolving around it. And you're probably thinking to yourself, this is the best presentation I've seen all week. But what am I supposed to do with this info dump? Well, what I'm not arguing is that you should start paying out bonuses in crypto to force your employees to get better at understanding risk management. It would definitely work, but you shouldn't do it. What I am saying is if this ragtag group of degenerate gamblers can form a tight-knit security community based on mutual risk, then why can't we do the same within our companies? At Protect AI, I have implemented some of these ideas, making security accessible by being a visible and inviting person that is easy to reach out to and generally quick to respond. If someone has a question, security related or not, I encourage them to talk to me. I find that if people are comfortable coming to me with questions that they think I might find silly, then I can often uncover some more pressing security details, or to just develop a positive relationship with them, which is always a good thing. Stated simply, if people feel like they can ask questions without being judged, they will ultimately ask more questions and take fewer unnecessary risks. When onboarding new employees, I talk about why security is important at Protect AI and what our no safety net is. I then work with them through the easy steps to be more secure and what anybody can do. And when they're not sure what they're supposed to be doing, they are absolutely encouraged to reach out. For Protect AI, our no safety net is the fact that we are fundamentally a security company. So a massive breach and a poor response to it could be a business-killing risk, which obviously none of us at Protect AI want. Without naming names, I'm sure everyone here can remember a company that had a breach and a terrible recovery. And when you were considering vendors in that space, you probably discounted them because of their reputation. I don't tell new employees this with the intent to scare them, but I have always felt that when people are armed with knowledge, they act like soldiers. Reputation is critical in the crypto space, and many projects respond accordingly. Reputation is critical in security businesses, so Protect AI will respond accordingly as well. Security needs to be a front-facing part of the company in order to make security accessible and to have the opportunity to demonstrate how simple some of the solutions can sometimes be. At Protect AI, something as simple as having a 5-minute security snack bite presentation during the all-hands meeting allows me to be in front of the whole company regularly to communicate and give helpful, easy security tips, like being mindful of your surroundings when you're working in public, which was important for RSA, or to update all of the devices that they own, regardless if it's a company device or not, so whenever the update is available, because it's an easy security win and automatically fixes known security vulnerabilities. Lastly, we need to embrace recovery and prepare for it. The aspect that makes the cryptocurrency community so compelling to me is the fatalism that encompasses the technology. You make a mistake, you have a breach, you are shit out of luck because there is nothing you can do. No preparations you could have done beforehand to recover your digital assets from being stolen. If there was a way for crypto bros to back up their assets to recover even a fraction of what they lost after a scam, they would do so without hesitation. Let's learn from their pain and take advantage of the recovery and incident response tools we have. Nope. Now, even if you don't agree with me, prepare for more people who learned security and risk tolerance and earned a great deal of paranoia by going through the crypto gauntlet, like this person who commented on the Was Me Sadly slide, "I hate scammers, man. One reason I'm studying cyber." Thank you. We're done. Now, I'm open to any questions, but I also know this was a weird one. So if you have no follow-up questions, I totally understand.
I just have a quick question.
Yeah, what's
Can you
up?
explain airdropping a little bit more, like how that works and what the end goal is? Are they trying to steal your cryptocurrency or plant malware, or what's the goal?
Yeah, no, so there can be multiple goals. I mean, I outlined one that I have a concern of, which is just like having the thing that's in your wallet. But different networks have different gas fees. So the ones that are really cheap are usually the ones that the airdrop scams come from. So you'll get an airdrop into your wallet that the person who airdropped it in paid pennies for. And they're hoping that if they offer you enough money on the exchange on the other end, you'll say, "Oh, wonderful, $500 for this thing that showed up into my wallet." You click and sign the transaction, because every interaction you have with your wallet requires a digital signature, and most people don't actually read the contracts that they're signing. And it will give that person, the hacker, permission to transfer all the assets out of their wallet. So just the goal is to get them to sign a contract that is malicious. All right, I think that's it. Thank you very much for coming. Feel free to review.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank
Yeah, of
you.
course.
If you have any other questions, you can step outside.